Chairs No Waiting, episode number 803, the beauty contest. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weavers and check out the new Mayberry purse. That's right, they got a Mayberry purse over there. It's one of those clear ones that you can see through, and it's got a orange and blue strap on it. It's got three straps, really, you can choose from. If you'd like to have a purse to go into ball games and all that stuff, here's something you might want to check out. While you're there, you might want to check out Mayberry Man the Series Season 1 DVD. They're limited supply, guys. Get them while you can. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 803 are the folks that attended the Mayberry meetup back in the summer of 2024. Thank you for all you. And the High Sheriff of Mayberry for this episode, 803, is Chris Merrill. Hello, everybody. I am Alan Newsom, the host of Two Chairs No Waiting. Great to be here, as I say every week, and it is always great to be here with you and talk about the Andy Griffith Show. Been talking about it for 802 episodes so far, so let's no reason to stop now. And I love it. I run, if you don't know, I run imayberry.com. My wife runs Weaver's Department Store, by the way. So the love of the Andy Griffith Show is deep in this one. So it's kind of a Jedi trick here. So, but tonight, whenever you're listening to this, we're going to be going through the beauty contest. I've been this year trying to go through episodes of these series. I've never done that until this year. And I've started going through them. I'm not going to make it through I might make it through this season because I'm getting close. I might be able to make it through season 1 in 1 year. But this is, they will be doing that, and then we'll do some trivia and stuff as well. Okay, so just to refresh your memory, the beauty contest. The beauty contest was the 20th episode that was filmed of the Andy Griffith Show, but it was the 16th episode aired. They aired them out of order of what they filmed them in quite often, actually. So you'll see it referenced in a lot of things as saying S1, season 1, .E16, because it's the 16th episode of season 1. So if you're looking for things and you're trying to find out episode numbers and things like that, it was the 20th episode that was filmed, but it was aired as the 16th episode. So the aired order is really more important than the other. So just so you're aware, it was originally aired on January the 23rd, 1961. The writers were Jack Ellison and Charles Stewart. The director was Bob Sweeney. Now, all this information that I'm talking about, you can find if you go over to the Mayberry Historical Society. That's where it is. So you go to mayberry.info, and all this information is there, including in the episode descriptions that you can find. If you go to the front page of mayberry.info, there's an episode guide right over there on the left that you'll be able to click. And if you go there, you'll be able to go to all the episodes and see the order and get the write-ups and everything while you're there. So that's basically what we're running through. But I did just update it today. So it does have additional information that was not there, well, before today. So just a quick summary, so you'll remember, Andy finds himself as the center of attention because he's chosen to be the judge for the Founders Day Beauty Contest. Everyone in town tries to persuade him to, get behind his or her pick. His solution at the very last moment is to award the honor to an older woman, Erma Bishop, who selfishly works and qualifies herself as a woman who is suited to wear the crown of Miss Mayberry. So that's the quick overview. Now we're going to get into it more deeply. I'm going to get us a little background music going here, so it's not just me talking all the time. There we go. We'll do that background music. All right, guys. So this episode, it is a very good episode. It's a fun one. It's fun to watch. I enjoyed watching it today. It starts off with Andy heading into Floyd's barbershop, and that's where we first run into it. He's going in there to do, to talk about the Founders Day and all the things going on. And And while he's there, if you'll remember, the mayor is in the barber chair, but Andy doesn't realize it's the mayor. So he's talking to Floyd, and he basically ends up talking about the mayor, singing, the mayor's family members singing, and nobody wants to hear that again. And is what basically the conversation goes through. Well, Floyd, of course, knows who's under the towel, getting ready for the shave or whatever the mayor was going to be doing. But Andy doesn't know that. So Floyd's like, it wasn't that bad. It's not the caterwauling that she's doing. Well, the mayor pops up, and Andy tries to save face, but it turns out the mayor's tired of hearing it too. So that's basically how this thing starts out. And so they come up with a different idea that they realize they've got to come up with some new idea to be able to do something at the Founders Day. Well, they're in the town council office. Now, the town council in Mayberry is very fluid. I don't know if you've realized this, but every time we see the town council, it's different people. It's almost always different people. Floyd's in there and Andy's in there, but other than that, it kind of moves around. This, Ellie has won a seat on the town council, so she's in it now, but it's always different people, but they're all trying to figure out what they might do. And they come up with the idea of a beauty contest. And at first, they all say it's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. And then, no, that's a good idea, they decide. So they decide that they're going to do a Founders Day pageant, and who would be a good judge? Well, who could they trust more than Andy? That they figure out that it's a good idea, and Andy would be the great one to be the one trusted, and he appreciates that. And then, they adjourn and move along from there. Well, that's when the problem started, right then and there. Because even though he's known for being fair and genuine and cares for the community and all this kind of stuff, Andy, he was hesitant to take on the opportunity, or responsibility, but he eventually relented, and believing that the role of judge would be, he could be a good, impartial, and straightforward judge. Little did he know the mess that was going to conspire against him, because he started it. As they left, because Ellie had thought it was a good idea for him to be the judge, and as they were leaving the council meeting, Andy started talking to her, saying basically that, wow, that's a good plan you had to have me be the judge. That way I could pick you. That kind of conversation is what he did. Well, that didn't work out good. Nope. Things did not go well. If you look at that, Ellie did not like at all that Andy was insinuating that she was in some way trying to become Miss Mayberry, and basically threatened Andy that if he picked her, it was going to be a bad thing. So then Andy is in trouble, and he's at home having dinner with his family. If you'll remember that, Aunt B cooked something. Opie and Aunt B are sitting around the table with him, and somebody comes knocking on the front door. Well, Aunt B heads over and knocks on the door, and there is, I do believe, Henrietta. It's Henrietta, I do believe is the right name. Am I getting that name right? I might be getting the name wrong. Because I'm not sure. Right. Yeah, Henrietta Swanson. That's who it is. She comes knocking on the front door, and anyway, it just keeps on from there. She knocks on the door, Andy, and everybody's like, hey, that's nice. Good to see you. And then in comes her daughter, all dressed up to get a cup of sugar. That's all she wanted, but she's dressed in a dress with high heels and all dolled up. And, it's just, it is definitely not a fun evening there for Andy, because not only does this occur, when she does finally make her way into the kitchen to get her some sugar in her cup, because they were out of sugar at their house. All these ladies are acting kind of weird, but they go through the whole conversation about who she would be a good choice. Of course, she is going to be a good choice. So Andy's getting the pressure already. And as they are about to leave, after being there and visiting with Andy, Well, in walks another contestant carrying her peat moss with her. So now he's got two people that have been coming in. Let's see, I believe that was Barbara Sue Lindsay comes walking in with the peat moss. And so there we got. So, Henrietta can't believe that she came over here like this. But Barbara Sue was delivering the peat moss, and Darlene Swanson and her mother, Henrietta, leave out the front door in a kind of a huff, honestly. And Darlene even says, "Do I have to take the sugar?" So this is obviously a setup. Basically, Barbara Sue ends up taking the peat moss at Andy's suggestion and putting it out in the shed, out in the garage for him, or in the shed. I can't remember if it was a shed or garage, but anyway, whichever it was, she takes it out through the kitchen to do that. And Andy's like, oh, he's in trouble. He's going to have to deal with all this stuff. So, and in the meantime, Opie actually recommends his pick for Miss Mayberry. So we end up with that one as well. And of course, that's Mary Wiggins is the one that he picked. So now Andy is getting it from his family and from everybody else in the community. They're all wanting them to pick their daughter, including Mayor Pike, who comes into the courthouse, and he basically, just to cut this a little shorter, he tells Andy that's terrible that people doing that. People shouldn't be doing that. You can pick whoever you want to. You can pick any of my three daughters. So he has three daughters. And of course, Andy is just getting in such a bind. But luckily, a sweet lady finally comes in, and she asks him some questions. Erma Bishop herself. But she's not wanting anything. She doesn't want to win or anything. She just wants to offer to help, because she's been helping for years doing the beauty pageants or whatever they've been doing in town. Andy just appreciates that so much and thanks her, and definitely will take her help. And of course, Floyd comes in, and Floyd also, is looking for assistance at some point, because at the practice later for the Founders Day pageant, Floyd is John Mayberry. He is him. He comes in as leading the group of settlers. They're not celebrating. They're not happy. So Floyd is unhappy about the way they're not celebrating in the background for him. But Emma's trying to help lead the pageant and get everything done. And they finish up some of that. And Floyd comes over and tells Andy that he's written a song for the Founders Day pageant. And he sings some of it for Andy. Hail to thee, Miss Mayberry. Oh, hail to thee. You like it? Yeah. So he sings it for him. And Andy said, oh, that's good. He said, I appreciate it. You're just being a help, Floyd. But then, of course, Floyd decides that he thinks his niece should win. He practically promised her that she would, that Virginia Lee, his niece, would win. And Andy said, well, you're just going to unpromise her. And Floyd basically threatens to take back his Hail to Thee, Miss Mayberry song. We go on to see scenes of people chasing Andy through the streets, trying to get their family member or contestant picked. And basically Aunt B keeps telling him, you've got to get Ellie to be a part of this contest so that you don't have this problem. And Ellie's already made it clear. He tries to call her. It just doesn't work out. So Opie even brings Mary Wiggins over to the house, and she smiles for Andy and is missing a tooth, and Andy does think she has the right smile, right good smile there. So she's there, but he ends up making Opie leave, and he can't pick her and all that stuff. So finally we make it to the contest, and the ensuing problems here continue because we already have our two ladies that we had already met earlier. We have Darlene and who was the other? Darlene and Barbara Sue. We met both of them already. So they're in this. And okay, so we know, for instance, that this is a question I'm going to have for you guys. I'll try to remember to ask it later, but these are the ladies we know in there. So we got Juanita Pike, the mayor's daughter. She's in there. And we have the ladies that are already on stage that we already know, which one of them is Darlene and one of them is Barbara Sue. So we've already met them. So there's 7 ladies on the stage before they finally pick Ellie, because they do eventually have Ellie Walker comes up on the stage because she has her name called as well. And she again basically threatens Andy that if he picks her, she'll never speak to him again or something like that. So it's bad. So they've got all these ladies up on the stage, 7 of them, counting Ellie. And Andy is in a bind because now he's up there and people in the crowd are starting to question him as to who's going to be the winner. People in the crowd, Sam Lindsay, Darlene's father, and Henrietta Perkins, they're all giving him a hard time, but you got to tell us who's going to be the winner. Who's the winner? And Andy's asking for, well, we need to get the robe. Where's the robe? And as he sees Miss Bishop with the robe, he realizes, I got an out. So Andy comes up with the idea and talks about all the qualities that Miss Mayberry should have and how she should behave and all these wonderful qualities. So he has Miss Bishop stand up on the stage and not leave. And basically he ends up saying, because of all these wonderful qualities, just helping out and doing all the things that she does, she should be Miss Mayberry. So he puts the robe around her, or the cape. Is it a cape? I'm not sure what you'd call it, a robe thing. And then the crown as well. And then all the other contestants begin to cry and wail, and they're running out to their parents. All except Ellie, of course. Ellie was happy and thought it was a great choice for Andy, but all the rest of the people are crying, and just the daughters are leaning on their parents, and oh my goodness. So Andy goes out to try to stop the crying jag, is what he says. So after that's all over, basically the wrap up of the episode is Andy reading the results of the pageant in the newspaper and talking about Floyd rendering Hail to Thee, Miss Mayberry, and based on the reception, that we might lose a barber, but we'll be gaining a composer. And as that's going on, Opie brings in Mary Wiggins because he's still upset that she didn't win. And basically Andy has an idea, and he gets Mary and stands her up on the barber chair, puts the hair apron around him, the apron around her, and gets Floyd's hat and turns it upside down and makes it into a crown for her, and then has Floyd render once again Hail to Thee, Miss Mayberry, to Mary as she is crowned Miss Mayberry Jr. So that's the episode, guys. That is it. That is the episode. Now, we've got a whole yonder bunch of, what would you say? A whole bunch of odd facts known by few to go through. So Mary Wiggins, that we see, right here in the barbershop now. Mary Wiggins, just for your information, she is the second of 4 characters that was played by Joy Ellison in 5 different episodes. She was in 5 different episodes, but Mary Wiggins was her name in this episode. Joy Ellison played. She went on the Mayberry cruise with us last year. She went on the cruise with it. Was it last year? Yeah, last year. The years run together for me. So Mary Wiggins is seen in the barbershop making her first, based on the order of the aired episodes. She was the first in a very short list of females to have ever graced the inside of Floyd's barbershop. We didn't see many women in Floyd's barbershop. Ellie appears briefly in Mayberry on Record. We saw her. That's going to be in episode 19. We see that. We talked about that last week, but it was the 19th episode aired. This is the 16th episode aired. Aunt B was in there a couple of times. One of them was in The Jinx, for instance. Female reporter in Crime Free Mayberry was in there. And, of course, Ellen Brown was in there. And Emma was in there as well. But that's a very short list of female characters. So Mary Wiggins was the first based on air dates. So there's a little bit of trivia. All right, so as we said, Miss Mary Wiggins is crowned Miss Mayberry Jr. in the epilogue to smooth things over for not having chosen them. Now, Josie Lloyd was the actress that played Juanita Pike. Okay, so she appears as Juanita in this episode. The mayor mentions that she's his third daughter. That's what he actually says. Just 3 episodes before this, in Mayberry Goes Hollywood, Josie appeared as Juanita Pike. Oh, she's Josephine in this one. I got those backwards. So she's Josephine Pike in this episode. And just 3 episodes before, which would have been Mayberry Goes Hollywood, she was Juanita Pike. Okay, so I'm not sure. Let me look if that may be the filmed order and not aired order. So let me look. Have we already done Mayberry Goes Hollywood? Yeah, we have. 3 episodes earlier. Episode 13, she was Juanita. And in this one, she's Josephine Pike. Okay. So she would later appear also, as you guys probably know, as Lydia Crosswaith. She was in 2 episodes as Lydia. Barney Mends a Broken Heart and Goober and the Art of Love. Now, here was a question I came up with a little bit earlier. Okay, so we know, as I said, that the mayor has 3 daughters, because he talked about any of his 3 daughters you could pick, right? So this episode, she is Josephine. But on Mayberry Goes to Hollywood, she was Juanita Pike. So Juanita, are they twins? That was one of the things we actually talked about in a previous episode number 548. We talked about possibility of having Pike twins. So twins were the twins. So we had, I got to get them right here. In the previous episode, she was Juanita Pike and sang Flow Gently, Sweet Afton. And now in this episode, she is Josephine Pike. So it's his 3rd daughter. He says 3rd daughter. So that means he has 2 other daughters. So he's got a twin daughter, evidently. It doesn't mean he doesn't have 4 daughters, by the way. But here's what it actually comes to. As we look at the contestants in this episode, there are basically 7 contestants counting Miss Ellie, right? Is that right? Yes, 7 contestants counting Miss Ellie. All right. So we know, for instance, that Josephine is one of them. Am I getting that right? Yeah, Josephine Pike is one of them. And now he says you can be any of his 3 daughters. So that means his other 2 daughters must be in the Founders Day pageant as well. Or he has 4 daughters. So that's the question. Because we also know Floyd's niece, Virginia Lee, is in it. Okay, so I can name all the ladies except for 3 of them. And one of them has to be Virginia Lee. And the other 2 must be the mayor's daughters. So I don't know, guys, that we got to come up with a theory. How does this work out? Maybe he's got twin daughters, Josephine and Juanita, but then he has 2 other daughters, a younger one and an older one, because he said that Josephine was his 3rd daughter, right? So, all right, guys, I know I'm thinking way too much, but this is something for you to think about. Homework. Let's go and try to figure this out and see what we can determine who the daughters were. And maybe from this episode, we can figure it out. Some of you real trivial thinkers, logical thinkers, go and think about that. All right, so let's move on. As I mentioned, Floyd says that he has a niece, Virginia Lee. So she's one of those 7 contestants. Ellie, because we've got Ellie, we've got Darlene, and we've got Barbara Sue. We know those 3 for sure, right? And then we've got Josephine Pike. So that's 4 of them we know. So there's only 3 ladies we don't know. One of them is Virginia Lee. The 2 others must be the Pike's other 2 daughters. That he said you could pick any of the 3 of them. That's what he said. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see. In this episode, we actually see Miss Ellie's, I guess, true colors. I don't know if you want to say it like that or not. But, when Andy basically assumed that she might be wanting to win. Well, instead of manipulating Andy's choice like the other ladies were, she actually got really mad at Andy for insinuating that she would have him pick her unfairly. Okay, so we get some of her true character in this episode. So thank you, Miss Ellie. Proves you've got high character. We appreciate that. So the other thing that is noticeable is Andy and Ellie leave the council meeting in the episode. Okay, so they leave the council meeting via the side door, or perhaps the back door of the courthouse. It's the back door of the courthouse or something. However, we've never seen any stairs that go up to the top floor. Just a little trivia for you. But there's always an assumption that there's stairs in the back of the courthouse somewhere that you go upstairs to get to the mayor's office. That's what I've always thought. And they appear to be coming out of those doors, probably toward the side or rear of the courthouse. So, just don't know. Because that side door, I would think, goes into the back room where Barney sleeps sometimes of the courthouse. But anyway, they came out it, so there must be a way to get upstairs through that door. Or we're just overthinking. All right. Let's see. Henrietta Swanson, you'll remember she came over to Bee's house and to see Andy and try to get him to have her daughter be a winner. She appeared in 14 episodes. The lady, her name is Elva Allman, and she played Henrietta Swanson in this episode. And she appeared on 14 episodes of Petticoat Junction as Selma Plout from 1963 to 1967. And during that same period, she appeared as Elverna Bradshaw on 13 episodes of Beverly Hillbillies. Just so you know, she played 2 different people, Beverly Hillbillies and Petticoat Junction. They were kind of connected too. So she played a different lady on each one of them. So maybe she played twins as well. There you go. And one final little bit of trivia for you here. Don Knotts did not appear in this episode, despite being in the credits. He's in the credits. So there you go. Let's see. So there's one other little bit of just something to kind of watch for if you'd like to. When Floyd and the mayor are actually in the barbershop and Andy has said something about the mayor's wife singing. I think it was her that was singing. If you watch Floyd's mouth, he's mouthing the lines that the mayor's saying as he's doing it. So he's speaking. So check that out during that scene. There's parts of it where Floyd's kind of mouthing what the mayor is saying. So that's the actor and the man, I guess, there. So there you go. One other little bit of trivia or tribute for you. More information about this episode can be found in episode number 548. The Pike Twins is what it's called. 2 Chairs, No Waiting, where we speculated about Mayor Pike having twin daughters plus a third daughter that we never saw. We never talked about the possibility that they were all in the beauty contest in that episode. So I'd like to hear what you think about the possibility of him having 3 daughters on stage at the beauty contest, one of them being Josephine, and the 2 others we don't know, along with Virginia Lee. So one of them is Virginia Lee, right? And I did do a little bit of digging and a little bit of trying, just so you guys know. You guys that are watching the video version of this can kind of see this maybe. But when everybody is crying and leaving the room and all upset, all the girls go to their family members. So we can actually see the family members that some of the girls go to. So, for instance, we see Darlene Swanson goes to her father. They're right here, over here in the top kind of right, because that's Sam. We already know what Sam looks like. He plays Mr. Foley as well. So that's him, Sam Swanson. He plays in this episode. But she goes to him, and then we see Henrietta Swanson with her daughter Darlene. And if we look over to the other side of the room, we see one of the ladies that we don't know being hugged over that way. But there's also a good shot of the mayor hugging one of the girls that you can see, and it's not just Josephine. So go and check that out. If you guys can try to figure that stuff out, more power to you. All right, so that's everybody that's not as big a fan as me and you is bored at this point. So let's call that done. We have called that episode done. This is the beauty contest. Go and check it out. Go watch it and see what you can figure out about this whole thing. All right, so there we go. All right, so now it's time for some trivia. If everybody's ready for trivia, we'll play trivia. How about that? There we go. So get out your pencils and your piece of paper, because folks in the chat room are ready. And speaking of the chat room, if you'd like to join us in our chat rooms, you can join us on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time at live.twochairsnowaiting.com and be a part of the fun that they're having over there, as they're right now, I think, talking about the which one is Virginia Lee and all that kind of stuff in the all right, so we have 5 questions we're going to do tonight. These are from Paul Mulik, and the topic will be dancing. So these are all worth 1 point apiece, and we've got some more questions next week as well. So we'll be doing those next week. All right, still on dancing. All right, so here we go. Question: when Opie learns that a 6th grade school party will be a dance, who gives him dancing lessons? When Opie learns that a 6th grade school party will be a dance, who gives him a dancing lesson? All right. So I'll give you the hint if you don't already know, but if you already know, see, folks in the chat room are getting it. The episode is "Look, Pa, I'm Dancing." Okay. And the answer is a color episode, but here the answer is it's Aunt B that gives him a dancing lesson. Aunt B does it. Okay. All right. Did you get it? A lot of the folks in the chat room are getting that one. All right. Question number 2. What did Barney say he bought just for dancing? That's number 2. What did Barney say he bought just for dancing? All right. I'll give you a hint now. Of course, this may give it away. The episode is Barney's uniform. That may give it away completely, but what did Barney say he bought just for dancing? The answer, he bought his salt and pepper suit just for dancing. It hangs just right when you dip. That's right. All right. Good job. Folks in the chat room are getting that, salt and pepper. Yeah. And Cody even got the quote right there. It hangs just right for the dip. All right. So did Claudette. Claudette Beeman got that quote too. All right, number 3. The tag dance, in which a dancer who is tagged must give up their dance partner, is a regular feature at parties hosted by whom? The tag dance, in which a dancer who is tagged must give their partner up to whoever tagged them, is a regular feature at parties hosted by whom? Folks are getting this one in the chat room too, so I'll give you the hint, and I think it gives it away. The episode is My Fair Ernest T. Bass, All right. And the tag dance is hosted by Mrs. Wiley. Mrs. Wiley didn't take. You got to give it to him firm. Let him know you're there. Give it to him firm. Let me know I'm there. It's so awesome. That's one of the greatest scenes ever. Oh, he goes over and hits him with the face. Oh, I love it. All right. So that's the reason I love the trivia, because it makes me think of these amazing things. All right. So we're only got 2 questions left. Hope you're doing, everybody seems to be doing good in our chat room. Here we go. Question 4. According to Barney, what's the biggest dance of the year? Oh, this is a good one. If you flew a quail through here, every woman in here would point. Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's the last question. All right. According to Barney, what's the biggest dance of the year? Okay. A hint for you. If you don't know, a hint would be a date for Gomer, if that's helpful. I don't know if that would help me. All right. The answer is the biggest dance of the year is the Chamber of Commerce dance. Chamber of Commerce dance. Chat room did pretty well on that. Some got it wrong. Some were trying to get it both ways by saying church chamber. It's not the church. All right. So, all right. Our last question. Number 5. Andy thinks Ellie trapped him into taking her to what kind of dance? Okay. Andy thinks Ellie trapped him into taking her to what kind of dance? Okay. So that one, the episode is Irresistible Andy. I don't know if that helps at all, because it's the dance type that we're talking about. All right. So what kind of dance did Andy feel like that Ellie trapped him into taking her on to? Okay. Got to be fairly specific on this. Well, not too. All right. So here we go. The answer, she trapped him into going to, or he thought so, from Irresistible Andy. It was not a Legion dance, not a Chamber of Commerce dance, not an Uplifters dance, a church dance. It was a church dance. A church dance. So she trapped him into taking her to a church dance. Oh, my goodness. Andy was, speaking of overthinking, Andy should have been happy to have a young lady like Ellie wanting to get him to take her to a dance. That would have been awesome, because he was not that young. She was way younger than him at that point. Excuse me. All right, so that was the answer. It was a church dance, not a Legion dance, not a Chamber of Commerce dance, not a Uplifters dance, a church dance. That's what she got him to go to. How did you do? That was 5 questions. Folks in our chat room are saying 5 of 5. Good job. The chat room is happy. They got good answers going there. So good job to the chat room. Glad y'all did well. I hope everybody had a good time tonight. That's the main thing. You want to have fun listening to the story, hearing the things about the show. And you got a little bit of homework you can go and do. And if you do come up with an idea and a theory about who's who in that day and at the beauty contest, which ones was his daughters, because maybe the mayor has 4 daughters, but we know he got at least 3. All right. So if you can come up with a good one, go back and listen to that previous episode I told you about as well. That's episode number 548, the Pike twins, because it's got information in there too, and pictures and that, and conversation went on in that one. But I'm not convinced we got it right yet. So let's figure that out. I'd love to hear from you. You guys can give me a call at 888-684-8415 and let me know what you think. Even better, I guess in this case, you email me, floyd@imayberry.com, with a written out description and maybe pictures with numbers on them. Make it easy for me to be able to try to tell people what the heck you're talking about. Folks, it's always fun to spend time here in Mayberry. I appreciate you being here with me. I want to thank our supporters, for folks that were at the meetup, and of course, Chris Merrill, our High Sheriff of Mayberry, for all of his support for here on the podcast. Thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube or anything, go out there and subscribe and like the podcast, and head over to Weavers and check out the purse. They're available. You can go get you a purse, and a clear purse where you can see through it and don't have to take all your stuff out of your purse when you go into an event. There you go. Vanna White's behind me in the video, showing it off. So go and check it out. It's really a lot of fun. Again, folks, thanks for being here. I hope you're going to be with us at Mayberry Days. Be watching for the Weavers newsletter. It's about to come out in the next day or so here. Sign up if you haven't. It's free. Head over to Weavers and click on the newsletter link. Go to the part where you say subscribe. Put in your email address, and we'll make sure you get a copy of it for free. And you'll be able to join in on that as well and not miss out on any of the fun going on around Mayberry. Until next time, everybody, have a great Mayberry week.